oh my God, like how did he do that? What he managed to do was find every microscopic period of the song that had no talking on it or singing. He somehow, and this is before Pro Tools. Now in Pro Tools, you can cut and paste and stuff and manipulate how you want it to sound. This is before. This is done in like '99 by hand. I watched him.
Now listen.
The shortest version is it's the equivalent of someone solving a 10,000 piece puzzle in record time.
J Dilla and Ali Shaheed Muhammad from
and Raphael Sadiq
from Tony.
Yep.
And so all of this, but it doesn't name individual, so you don't know who made any of the beats or whatever like that. They were all credited for that production. And so like there was a growing concern that Q-Tip was getting the production credit or the production shine, if you will, for some of the beats and production that JD was, actually making. And Dilla, he wasn't one to he didn't really care about all that stuff. He just wanted to, be known and everything like that and be paid or whatever the case may be. And so there wasn't a beef, but there was just, there was a lot of confusion.
And that's why Umar didn't stay going.
Yeah, it didn't. And so, over that period of time, it just really got frustrating. And, then there was some situations where some of the homies, people that he grew up with and did music with, like DJ House Shoes, they may or may not have had some type of issues with his mom. And his mom was very protective of the music because, like you said, J Dilla did a lot of beats and he did a lot of music that got out to the streets. And particularly after he passed, there was a lot of music that got released and people were taking songs, because to have a Dilla beat is something special, right? So
before you even go further, Raphael was not in the UMA. He was not in the
he was an affiliate. So
he was an affiliate, but he wasn't technically
in the group, but he was an affiliate. He worked with them production wise. So it was a lot of stuff going on, but all of that, and people wanted to be associated with Dilla, and I get it, but there was a lot of confusion going on, particularly after he passed, confusion with his estate, and he had, 2 daughters, and there was back and forth about who was going to get money. It was a lot of stuff, but it speaks to, just who he was as a man, who he was as a musician, who he was as an artist and a creative. So if you get a chance, check out Dilla Time. If you don't want to read the book, like I said, get the audiobook. Is super dope, written by Dan Charnas.
You could even go crazier with it. Like, I don't know, me and you talked about it. We talked about this off air. The whole controversy around "Got It Till It's Gone" by Janet Jackson.
Yes. They touched on that in the book too. Yeah. That was very interesting because "Got Till It's Gone." And we did talk about that off air. I mean, like,
but we didn't talk about it here though. We didn't talk about it here.
Jimmy Jam famously said, like, that they did the beat, and I think he did the beat, and it's credited as, the streets say that J Dilla did the beat. So it doesn't matter.
But Jimmy say that he was inspired by
right. He said he was inspired. He said, but J Dilla wasn't in any of the production or anything like that. So it's some controversy as to who gets credit or whatever. But again, a phenomenal artist. In my personal opinion, I think J Dilla is the greatest producer of all time. Again, just my opinion.
Any genre or just hip hop?
No, just hip hop. Just hip-hop. To me, he's the king of beats. J Dilla does things and did things as far as from a production side that I don't think we've ever seen. Now, full disclosure, he is and was influenced by Pete Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Q-Tip too, right?
And Q-Tip as well. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Q-Tip, and so he's from their tree, if you will, as far as production. But I think the difference between J Dilla and those two is that J Dilla would take those small microchips, micro samples, and he would make beats out of just the smallest things. One of the things that you and I talked about before the show, hearing Questlove break down how he chopped up this song called Little Brother. It's a Roy Ayers song called Ain't Got No Time. And there's really no space Roy Ayers, between the music that's being played and Roy Ayers actually talking, there's no space to make anything. But J Dilla actually took the small pieces of pockets where there was no talking and made them beats. He said, you can't, he said, it sounds like the song is on a loop. He said, but you can't even tell where he took it. He said, but it's like, you know, taking a puzzle and putting it all together. And I mean, like that just speaks to his
and
genius.
Kids, there's no copy and paste then. So you had to you had to literally go back, get it again. Even if it's 10 seconds, get it again.
That's it.
10 more seconds, go back, get it again. 10 seconds, get it again. So, and you might not got it right the fourth time. So now you got to redo it. So, okay, I got the first 30 seconds, but I need to do it again. Do it again. I listen back like, damn, I got to redo the whole thing because.
And it's just being that type of meticulous. I mean, like one of the things that he talked about, and it's a legend that's been out there, but Dilla's last album that was released,
Donuts.
It was Donuts. Word on the street is that he did most of the production from his hospital bed.
That's supposed to be real.
And they talked about it in the book. He didn't do all of it. He did do some. And I mean, like he had the MPC is J Dilla's, you know, that's his everything. And he used the MPC in ways that I don't think anybody else has ever used it. And what the thing that people who are technical in that field or making music or making beats will tell you is that the MPC has what they call quantization. And the quantization is to make sure that your beats are aligned with each other. Well, Questlove from The Roots famously, you know, described J Dilla's beats as a drunken 3-year-old playing because the beats aren't on beat. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so like it is, the beat is dragging. It's hard for me to explain it to someone who's not technical but just listen to a J Dilla beat and you'll understand what I'm saying. But it is incredible. Again, I don't know that anybody's ever made any music like that. And that music has inspired so many other people, not just in hip hop, but R&B and across the board. And that was another thing too, like you mentioned him working with Janet. Dilla wasn't just regulated to hip hop. I mean, obviously worked with Erykah Badu as well, and some other R&B artists as well. So he was well versed, man. I think just the last thing I want to add is like, just as a fan, I used to get mad because people didn't know about Dilla. And I would be like, how you call yourself a hip hop fan and you don't know about Dilla? But it was
what year was this that people were feeling like they didn't know who Dilla was? You feel like
probably like the early 2010s, you know, I mean,
okay, well then this is egregious. Now I get it in the non able to research era of it. If you complain you're a hip hop fan and you don't know, so you didn't know who Slum Village, like, so you never heard Climax, you never heard, I think one of the best samples from Dilla, Players, where he takes Claire, was supposedly so it's two different levels. So originally, remember, it was the urban legend that he's taking not Eddie Murphy, Bill Cosby saying Claire and made the Players, but it's actually another song.
It's the
song Players. But I remember when we first heard it back before the internet, y'all, that people were saying he was taking Bill Cosby saying Claire and he made it into saying Player. You remember that when people
I remember and it's when you hear the song that he sampled it, they're clearly saying Claire, but he's made the song and stretched it to the point where it sounds like, and the song is called Players, but it sounds like he's saying it like it's saying Claire, but it's Players. And I mean, like, yeah, man, it's hard for me to pick one particular song. Climax is probably my favorite song from Dilla, but it's
really, production wise.
Mine's
is Players, man. Mine's is Players.
Mine's is Climax. Two Can Win. Can Win from the Donuts album.
Yep.
The aforementioned Little Brother. And I mean, after that, it's like trying to figure out your favorite child.
Man. The light is up there for me, man. Like, I know it's commercial, but the idea of him taking that and the way it's been able to live forever within mixes because of, like, I believe, did you ever see the the Bobby Caldwell TV1. What is the TV1 do with the Unsung? Did you see?
No, I didn't see it.
Like literally, he was like, he's like, they literally gave my career a full another life because of that J Dilla sample for the light.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's so many though, y'all. Like literally, just Google production.
Yeah, his production book is crazy. I mean, like
the questions is my joint. You're talking about just literally like Water for Chocolate. He did most of the songs on there.
Listen, and there's gonna be an episode on the Rap Soul podcast, like Water for Chocolate versus B, which is really Dilla versus Kanye. And at the time of this recording, B just turned 20. Both phenomenal albums. Personally, I like Water for Chocolate better. I'm a bigger JD fan.
Me too.
I'm a bigger J Dilla fan than I am. But what Kanye does to B is crazy, right?
No. The thing is, B got Common over the hump to be somewhat commercial. But if you're ahead, you have been with Common since Can I Borrow $1?
Exactly. One day it'll all make sense.
But you felt when I heard like I was like, oh, he in his bag.
Yeah. Thelonious, Nag Champa, those are like my joints.
But I get why someone would say B is better, and I'm not mad at them for saying it. It's not like you're wrong for saying B is better, because B got Common over the hump for his career that he had been searching for 10 years almost.
Yeah, and it was a great bounce back from the Electric Circus failure.
But now I revisited Electric Circus. It's not as bad as we thought it was.
It might not be D, but I bought that album and I listened to it 4 times and I literally threw the CD out the window.
But what's crazy is the first single was so banging with Mary J. You like, oh, we back at it.
I couldn't, man. I was frustrated. I was like, I don't know what this is. And J Dilla had some beats on that too as well.
Yeah.
And it was just different. But to your point, I mean, he bounced back with like Water for Chocolate. He bounced back with B, and a lot of that is attributed to his work with J Dilla and Kanye for what it's worth.
All right, let's get into it. So where would the hip hop landscape be at if J Dilla did not pass when he passed?
I think if he were still here, or if he had lived a little bit longer, I think we would have got
the lupus thing. We couldn't. So everybody know that he passed in 06. So give you a reference for 06. Go ahead.
And even if you give him another 10 years, let's say he passes away in 2016. I think what we saw in that particular pocket of time was, you mentioned earlier, the Soulquarians. I think the neo soul movement that was moving forward, that Questlove and those guys were pushing forward in the early 2000, between like 95 and 2000. I think we get even more of that music because now we've got Dilla in the studio. If we've got Dilla in the studio making albums, because here's the thing, after listening to and reading Dilla Time, he was working on a lot of music. And the funny thing is, D, like, if you go to YouTube and you just type in J Dilla beats and just leave that, I mean, like, it will literally come up. You will have, in essence, a lot of his beat tapes. J Dilla beat tapes are crazy, and like they're
was he just giving them out? He was just giving them out, right?
Well, he was just making music. He was one of those people that he genuinely enjoyed making music. So he would give some music out. He would give some music away. He would, charge people for some beats or whatever like that. Because Jay wanted to, like you said on the album, Jay stays paid. He wanted to get paid. But I think had he lived, I think we would have gotten more of him, not only in hip hop, but also in R&B, more specifically in neo soul. And I think, because he was definitely moving in that direction. But he was, before he really got gravely ill, J Dilla was making a lot of music. He wasn't someone who was resting on his laurels, because even though fans like you and I knew him, and the people who are watching and listening to this episode know him, he was never bigger than like, Timberland or somebody like that, as far as hip hop circles were concerned. He was, but he wasn't. He wasn't in essence, he wasn't a household name. I think if you give him another 5-10 years, he becomes a household name because now he's dibbling and dabbling. I don't think he would have gone into anything like a Hollywood, but even moving to LA was something different because now he's left Detroit.
Scoring movies though. He could have been scoring movies.
Exactly. There's no doubt in my mind he'd do that. No doubt in my mind.
I would like to enter. I like to retract my previous J Dilla. So I forgot about Much More from De La Soul off the Grind Date.
Yes,
that is my second favorite beat behind Plays.
Man, listen, Stakes is High is up there too, man.
And look, you know he did 2 beats off B. So before people said Kanye did all of it.
No, Kanye didn't do them all.
J Dilla did for your Data Banks, he did Love Is and It's Your World.
It's Your World, which was the last song on the album.
Yep.
And so I mean, like, I think had he lived, we would have seen a lot more as far as music was concerned. And I think what also happens is if J Dilla's still alive, now we're moving into the internet era. And I think we see more.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if The Game never leaves G-Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Is, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Is.